Hello again, everyone, and welcome back to the Vintage Sewing Machine Garage YouTube channel. You are looking at a Singer 99 that has seen better days. It is an example of a machine that over the years went from its original owner who paid good money for this machine, and they eventually got into the hands of someone else and someone else. And this particular machine was stored in a place that you should not store sewing machines, in a place that was damp or high humidity. And that's not a good thing. And I've talked about machines in the past. I don't get them very often, but occasionally I get a machine and it has its cover. I have the cover that came with this. This, of course, is the grass cloth cover and carry case that many of these 99s were sold in. This would have been standard if you wanted a table, which they had to fit these machines. You paid extra. This was often a starter machine for some folks. Others, would sew for their whole family on it. It was compact. Remember how small homes used to be back in the day, and so not everyone even had room for the smaller sewing tables, or maybe they didn't want to pay for them. In any case, this machine was handed to me. It was given to me. It was either that or the scrap heap, and that's a shame because an initial cursory glance shows me well I've got needle movement. That doesn't mean it's ready to sew. If you ever see a sewing machine for sale and someone says, "Hey, it's in great condition," and they think it is because the needle moves up and down, I've mentioned in many of my past videos how that's not the case. Never make that assumption, even if the machine is in just glorious shiny condition, which this one obviously isn't. This machine, in addition to being covered with all kinds of dust filth, I see a Band-Aid that someone used as a seam guide. So that'll be coming off. Hopefully it will come off without much fuss, but you never know because things like tape, people often use gift wrapping clear tape or something else that sticks, and these things don't, they're not inert. They start to break down. At least this one came off, and I think you know what, I think a Band-Aid is actually a great metaphor for this machine. This machine has some issues, but most of the issues may be cosmetic. I don't know. I haven't tried to run the motor. It didn't come with a cord or a pedal or anything. It just they said here. So I thought, okay, I'll take a crack at it and see what I can do. What else do we have? We have some splotches here. These little splotchy areas. If I zoom in, I am going to just take a good guess that this is some form of mildew or mold that has grown on the machine. And of course, mildew spores, which can get on anything which doesn't get a lot of air, or if it's, I have a feeling this machine may have been stored in a basement somewhere. Not that water touched it. I don't see any rust, thankfully, but certainly high humidity. Not a good thing. And I also think that this machine probably sat covered for a long time, although it may have been uncovered for a while because you don't typically see, lots of dust on a machine that has its cover. But it came with the cover, so again, I don't know. So what I thought I'd do today, I have shown different ways to clean machines before. You can vacuum them and then, of course, wipe them down with sewing oil. But today I'm going to go back to a material I haven't used in a while. I haven't shown it on the channel in a while, and that, of course, is hand cleaner. Now, when I say hand cleaner, I'm referring to a sort of a gel-like substance, very thick paste that you can buy. It is typically found in the automotive sections of stores or car parts stores. You can also find this in a hardware store because it's not just people who work on automotive projects that need this, but anyone who gets greasy hands. Now, I've mentioned this in the past, and I want to make sure I mention it again. Only use a product like this that does not have pumice ground up in it. And I repeat, Do not use the pumice variety. That will be like putting sandpaper on your machine, because the pumice, a lot of the products like this says MotoMaster, but there are many brands. There's Permatex, there's Gojo is another well-known brand. There are others, but many of those products have pumice because pumice is really good at helping to scrub the grease off of people's hands. This product has aloe and lanolin, and then that's one of the other things that it helps to soften dirt and grease off of your hands to clean them. And then, of course, many people will follow up with soap and water. But you only want to use the non-pumice, and it's not always easy to find. And if you see a bunch of these tubs, they often come in tubs like this. Sometimes they come in little bottles. I call them squeeze bottles. Whatever package and brand you see, some of them will have citrus. You always want to test something. This one does not have the citrus, and I've used it on sewing machines before with no issues. But again, different brands have different formulations, and the citrus may be just fine, or it could cause damage to your machine. So always try in an inconspicuous area. If you're concerned about the effect, you can go on the back of the machine. You can go underneath here where we have some of the black, the black paint. So again, always approach anything you put on your machine with caution. You don't want to just go crazy and find out it's ruined what could have been a lovely paint finish. I don't even know what condition the paint is in here. I see some lovely shiny areas. The decals seem to be okay. Keep in mind that lots of cleaners can sometimes cause chemical reactions with your decals and turn them a different color or remove them altogether. So again, proceed with caution always when doing anything to clean your machine. So because I've used this product before, I'm going to take Waste Not, Want Not. I have a little scrap here of fabric I use when I'm doing test stitching. And I'm just going to take some of the product and I'm going to just dab it, right? I'm just going to, not grinding or anything. Just sort of, I want to cover the machine body in this, it's like a paste almost. It's very thick, thicker than a sauce. Okay, so it's thicker than ketchup, I think. Now, you do not put this product anywhere near the electricals of your machine. Just do not do that. You don't want it anywhere near there. And I'm going to come over here on the side, the left side of the machine head is what when you hear the words machine head, they're referring to the body of the machine, and this is the poster pillar. Honestly, I think there's a formal name for it that escapes me at the moment. If you know it, please put it down there in the comments, because my viewers, you also help. There are times when you help to educate folks, and we learn from each other. That's been my experience. So anyway, I'm just going to keep going over here. Now, I haven't removed the motor yet because I'm going to have to take the motor off with its bolt, and I'll get under the motor in just a minute. But I wanted to kind of just show you how I'm doing this. And the rag or the piece of fabric is already helping, or it's starting to lift some of the filth that's on this thing. Now, again, there's glue and adhesive, just like you would have with tape. There was adhesive on that Band-Aid, right? And so, this Band-Aid is just, like I say, it's a great symbol for what this poor machine needs. Most of what it needs is some love, and it hasn't had it in a long time, I can tell. And there are other things that need to be done with this machine. But again, if someone offered you a machine and said, "Hey, it's free, and I don't know what to do with this thing. It's a basket case," even if it's not the machine that you've always dreamed of, if you want to learn to practice how to overhaul a machine, you can always do practice on a machine like this, because you haven't invested anything, and you may find that you actually bring it back to life if you're patient and you're willing to try some things. Now, because this is a Singer, I actually have replacement new generic replacement cords and pedals for this piece. But of course, that's not my biggest concern or question at the moment. Right now, I just want to make sure that I can get it to run. And as I've mentioned in other videos, if I cannot, I don't throw machines away. Basically, anything that I can remove and strip from a machine, if I can't save it, that is actually, the machine will still serve a purpose because it will help to save other machines. You have to remember that not every part is available out there, and sometimes salvage parts are really necessary. All right, let's turn this. Oh, that didn't take much to turn. Okay. I have a feeling that someone may have been in this machine before. I'm just loosening the bracket here to get the belt off, and whoops. Now, by the way, this motor, of course, it has its light. The cord to the light fixture is wired into the terminal, so be careful. Don't yank on that. If I needed to, I could remove the entire, there's just a little screw here. I can take the light fixture off, and I may do that actually, just to give get everything cleared away so I can go over the body of this machine. And the bolt for the motor bracket, one of the best places for it when you're working on a part of the machine, you have the motor off, just put it right back where it was. It's just you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to have a special place for this. Sometimes you do, and you want to mark. You may actually want to label things so you remember what they are. Very few bolts are any bigger on a sewing machine than the motor bracket bolt. So we'll just leave it there. Let's come around the back and see. You know what? To really get to the body of the machine here, I think it's probably a good idea that I go ahead and let's just go ahead and take the light fixture bracket off. It's one bolt, not a big deal. See if I can get... be careful, this cord, the cord is old, so don't be overly harsh with it. I just want to check and see if I've got the right size. There we go, screwdriver bit, and I do. And I'm going to, and it's going to turn for me. Hooray. Oh, remember, have your hand, if you saw the light fixture start to droop, that's a lovely piece of thick glass there. Don't let it fall. It'll damage the light fixture and the bed of your machine. Have your hand ready, right? Be ready to catch it, because our lives are they're often so full of plastic consumer products, we forget that these vintage pieces they're made of stout materials, and they can do some damage if they fall. It'd be sad to damage the paint after all these years, and it's managed to survive pretty well intact. There may be some wear areas, but not terrible. And this is a bracket where it's not like, yeah, we got to take the whole, oh, there we go. Yes, whoops. There's the motor. The motor did not hit the floor. You'll see that there is a washer on the other side of the bolt holding the light bracket. Okay, so what have I got in my hands here? I have the motor, the terminal, and the light fixture. I'm just going to gently put them. And you can see as I was holding the light fixture, I had two hands and was trying to turn this. The motor was just sitting here, and I actually gently shifted it over, and it went right there. So again, when you're doing this, if you have another couple of hands in your household, that could actually be helpful. So anyway, no harm, no foul. Now look at all this. Look at all the filth. This is another reason to remove the motor from your machine when you're first getting it and the machine is just a wreck, right? Oh wow, I have to show you all this. This is you will see this sometimes. This belt has been on here a long time. I have mentioned to people before, well, let's see here. Oh, I see. My bobbin winder spring, it was loaded, and I wanted to be able to get the belt off. There we go. So I may have mentioned in other videos before that replacement belts are usually pretty easy to get. For a few machines, you can still get what they call rubber, they're a rubber compound, belts for your machine. Most commonly, you'll see these for the really popular collectible vintage machines like the Singer Featherweight. But you're limited, right? Now, notice that when I bend this, I'll put this in the light and you'll see you're going to start to see those hairline cracks. That's not surprising, but this belt has not broken. And how do I know it's old? Because I don't know if you can make this out, but in green letters, it says Singer. It either says Simanco or Singer. Can't make out the rest of it. Yeah, Singer, and I can see the word Singer in there in green. This belt is very old. Now, another thing to notice, when you look at the inside of the older belts, the new ones, the new rubber belts may or may not have this. I don't know if you can see this. Yeah, it's faded, but that's not what you're seeing. You're actually seeing a lot of fiber. There is fiber that is embedded throughout the rubber. That's why these belts were so durable, right? But this one will need to be replaced. However, do not throw that belt away. Why? Because that's, you can probably, actually not probably, you can look up the size of a Singer 99 belt because it's such a popular and easy to find vintage machine compared to others. But, it's right here. So if a faster way is to just hold on to the old belt, right? We're not going to reuse it, but you can use it to size the new one. And yes, you can get replacement belts in that size. Now, wow, look at all that filth. Now, notice I have mentioned before that sewing machines, or sewing thread rather, likes to go in squirrely places, right? Look at this. I've got I don't even know what, is that thread? That's not even thread. Oh my gosh, look at this. I don't know if can any of you tell me what that is? It is sort of translucent. It's plastic and it has a green shade. I'm not going to tell you. I think I know what this is. But those of you watching the video in the comments, tell me if you know what that is. I have a theory. I think so. Anyway, the point is things get wrapped around. I've seen more little, I don't know what that is. It's like a piece of wood. It's a strange life this machine has led. But like I said, sewing thread will sometimes find its way around the hand wheel shaft, the bobbin winder, and yes, even the pulley, the little pulley on your motor. So when you're examining your machine, I've done this in other videos, but you really want to make sure that you are paying attention. Now, I could have come in here and vacuumed, but in this case, I'm just going to come in here. I know I've got dust and crud here. Try not to get this hand cleaner in the holes, right? So I don't want to have to go digging it back out. So I'm just going to come over here, and I can always take a cotton swab if I need to go in there with any of the cleaner, but this cleaner is not a lubricant for your machine, so you don't want to get it in the wrong spot there. Wow. This machine has not had a bath in a long time. So again, I'm just coming around from where I was on the side there. And you'll find it's normal to see this because remember the motor's here and maybe the motor's not been taken off, seldom if ever. And so of course there's going to be something behind there, but the machine seems to be willing to let it go. Now, I've shared with all of you in the past that when you're trying to loosen stuck parts, and I don't know that I have any stuck parts on this machine, but that I often recommend that you let something like sewing machine oil or penetrant oil or the valve oil that I now sometimes use, that you let it sit, right? Because, you don't want to come in real harsh and trying to do things quickly because, a lot of this grime has taken decades to build up. And so the machine will let you, it will let you clean a lot of this, but you got to give it time, right? So very often if you go in here, and I know some of you have you've played around with like kerosene and so forth. I, as you know, if you watch my channel, you know I prefer not to use solvents. Not only now, kerosene is not known to damage sewing machine paint surfaces that I know of. Again, always use caution. But this hand cleaner, it smells a lot better. And some of you, we all vary in how sensitive we are to smells. And I always have to leave that to your own discretion because you know yourself better. But I prefer to avoid as many stinky smells as possible. All right, what else can I take off here to make sure that I can get to the body of the machine? Well, why don't we remove the hand wheel? Because there's probably, I don't normally find that much unless I find a remnant of a thread that has gotten stuck. Oh, okay, so that was nice. My clutch knob came off. Let's see if the set screw for the, oh, it's even willing to move. That's nice. You never know. Okay, I'm loosening it. I didn't take it all the way off. Make sure, again, when you take your clutch knob off, whoops, and you can see, I was about to say, and it happened before I could even get it out to speak, that washer will very often, unless it's stuck with old oil, it'll plop out, and that's fine. Just make sure you have the washer and don't lose any of these parts. Now, look at that. Came right off. In my experience, Singer straight stitch sewing machines are some of the most forgiving when it comes to parts being stuck. Now, you all have seen, I've had some Singers stuck, horribly stuck, but in the grand scheme of things, it hasn't been as bad as with some of the other brands. Now, I've also got to clean the inside of my hand wheel. Much easier to do with it in my hand. Sorry about the pun there. And I'm just going to take the cleaner and just kind of come around. Now, one of the reasons, typically you'll say, well, maybe I should clean that mildew with bleach. I would not put anything that strong on your sewing machine. I strongly suggest you don't. Now, look what I've got back here. I've got grime and filth on the back of the hand wheel. Now, I know that the back of the hand wheel, this area right in here, is not something anyone's ever going to see, but you want to get the dirt off, right? You're not doing it just so much just because you want it to be pretty. Nothing wrong with that, of course, but you got to get this mess off of here. Okay. Now you'll notice I'm going, and yes, I've gotten some in the pulley area. That's I've got to obviously get all of that lotion, all of this hand cleaner out before I ever put a new belt on, or it won't have friction. But you normally with some pulleys, some hand wheels, I can go with like a dilution of, say, 50% alcohol, isopropyl, and 50% water. But I'm not doing it on this machine because they used this black paint, and I don't want to strip that. Black machines from this period are a little more sensitive to any kind of chemical on the paint. But I've had good luck. You can use sewing machine oil, but again, you got to get cleaner. You can use like a dishwashing liquid and water to remove, but you got to get all the oils or lotions in this case off before you put your new belt on. But that's not difficult, and that's not why that's not our challenge right now. Our challenge right now is to get this thing clean. Well, why not? In for a penny, in for a pound. We'll do that. Okay, so now I have plenty of this stuff on the hand wheel. What's left? Well, what do we got here? We have this area here. Now, there's very little filth that ever gets there, and chances are, I can just wipe that, because you might see a light film of dust in here, and barely even that, because there's not a lot of space for filth to get in here, and this machine was kept in a carry case. But what I'm wanting to do is come down here. This is an area that I may have some old mildew or whatever here, and I just want this hand cleaning cream to come in and help me remove it. You're removing stuff from a surface that it has no business being in. Keep in mind that this machine and its shape and the way the body is shaped, I'm really able to go in and essentially get to where I need to. I may come back with a cotton swab to see if I need to, if I have any areas like down in here, I've gotten some well, let's see, where are my cotton swabs? They're never far away. Okay, so let me just I'll take a cotton swab. I just swabbed it into the hand cleaner, and I'll just come along here. You know, areas that are kind of narrow or tight, you know, and look at that. Look at that. I just literally just touched it with the hand cleaner, and I'm already pulling up grime and filth. So I'm going to come around here, and some areas of the machine are a little tighter than others to get to, and wow, that cleaner's really doing a good job. Again, I know, you know, you know, I'm sitting here on this making this video telling you that I've had good luck with hand cleaner on the machines I've used it on, but remember, doesn't matter who tells you it's a good idea, including me. I always test. I've done this on Singer sewing machines with this paint chemistry and the clear coating that they used over the decals. I've done it many times, so I know. But if this was a machine I've never touched before, a different brand, different paint, I would test it, right? I would do exactly what I suggest you all do. It's just, you know, it doesn't take a lot of time, and it can save you a lot of grief. So what I'm doing is I'm coming around here. I will eventually remove this the little thread guide for the bobbin winder. I like to do that because sometimes you'll find, look at that, look, oh wow, you can see the grime coming off. Sometimes you might even find a little corrosion underneath here, underneath this guide, and it's usually because it's just never moved. In fact, it's often not been removed since it left the factory, even though it was designed to come off. It's one of the things I love about so many of the vintage things I work on, primarily, obviously, sewing machines, is that they are designed to be repaired and maintained at a level that a lot of the disposable junk that we buy today just doesn't have. Those of you who know my channel, you know my approach to consumer products and quality, and how I didn't realize it until I started working on these machines, that it's not just sewing machines, it's just about everything else that our ancestors used to buy. They paid so much money, far more than on the average of what we pay today for a lot of the products we have. And again, I'm coming over. I literally just started. I put the cream over here. Wow, look at that. I put this hand cleaning cream on the bed of the machine when I started the video, and now the adhesive is starting to break down and come off. It's starting to dissolve without me having to sit there and hopefully not damage the paint. Right now I'm going to give it more time. I don't think it's been that long, but again, I don't find the smell of this to be offensive. It doesn't seem to give me a headache. And it's designed for cleaning your hands, you know, and I'm going to need to wash my hands anyway. But where else? Did I leave anywhere? Do you guys check behind me? Did I forget something? What about over here? Did I get over here? Again, I do not want this hand cream or anything else getting stuck down in my tension assembly. No, that's not useful. So again, this is another spot where I can take one of my cotton swabs, and I can be a little more targeted in, you know, getting this shift the camera just a little bit, getting into areas that are a little narrow, you know, and here I can come right above where my tension assembly is and not have to worry. Now there's another area you guys didn't see me attempt, and it may not have any filth on it because it's the ceiling right in here, but just why not, right? We've already tackled a lot of this, so and it'll be interesting to see if any of the splotchiness is left after I've let this product sit for a while. Who knows? Maybe I have to come back with a second swipe, right? Oh, let's not forget this top area up here. This is the inner shell of my, it's the piece that basically holds my bobbin winder assembly in the right position. And again, I'm going to use a cotton swab when I'm coming around areas like my stitch length regulator. But what this will do, what I hope it will do, is not only clean the machine, but also it will show me, once you get layers of dirt removed, then it kind of shows you, what kind of condition is the paint in? Were there scratches? Because there was so much crap and dirt on this thing, I couldn't even tell if it was scratched, or it was kind of hard to know. Now there's a splotchy area here, right there. Let's zoom in and you guys can see. First I thought, oh, is it missing paint? Right there. It might not be. I thought it was a paint chip. Could it be a loss of clear coat? Maybe. But you know what? I wonder if a prior owner had another piece of tape or another Band-Aid on the left side. Who knows? Sewers have different needs. They need to be able to know where their seam allowance is when they're stitching. And machines, at least when this one was made, they didn't give you a marked seam guide. That would come later. I think the Singer 185 has it, probably because enough people complained and said, hey, could you give us a seam guide here so we don't have to put tape or Band-Aids or anything else there? So okay. Well, I've gotten lucky here. Look at that. On the back side, I'll zoom in for you. Right here, I was coming down and I thought, I wonder if that's clear coat loss, but it peeled up in a way that clear coat does not, and I think that's old tape. I really do. I think this is old I can't even see if I can get this on the camera. It's some kind of plastic, and that tells me it's probably old old Scotch tape or gift tape, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, gonna let this sit, and there are so many ways to clean a sewing machine, believe it or not, that can be useful to you. And sometimes even I think, oh, wait a minute, I have this product at my disposal and it doesn't give me a headache, at least not me. And if you look at the color of my rag, just in applying it, I have removed some soiling. So again, if you've been wanting to clean your machine but you were afraid, again, no matter what you see on YouTube, including this channel, always try it on a very inconspicuous, hidden place, just to make sure that there's no issues with compatibility, because paint is chemistry, and it can be disturbed. And I've talked in other videos in the past about be really careful. The only solvent I know of that will not really harm these finishes is kerosene, but I only have used kerosene outside because it is very difficult to get that horrible stench out of anything that absorbs it. It takes a long time. It's a very oily solvent, and I don't want it inside. Some of you may think differently, and that's okay. But for my purposes, we're getting late in the year here, and so I won't be doing anything outside very much if I can help it. Anyway, thank you all for watching the filthy Singer 99K. I should have mentioned it's a 99K. It was built in that incredible factory in Kilbowie, Clydebank, Scotland, in the United Kingdom. And I think I'm going to nickname this machine Pigpen, because like the character from Peanuts, because it was just rough. So we'll do this, and then we'll look back at what it looked like before, and hopefully you're going to see a new and improved Singer 99K, and hopefully when I start examining the other parts of the machine, it will live once again, because I do have cords and foot pedals for it. I've just got to make sure that the machine works, and if it does, hopefully it will find a new home and a new life in the hands of someone who can sew a lot better than I can. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.